Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. Tonight, we bring you a special report on the escalating tensions in the Middle East as the Iran war enters its critical phase. We'll delve into the complex web of alliances and rivalries that drive the conflict, from Israel's role to China's potential solution. We'll also examine the prospects for Central Asia's middle corridor to bypass the Strait of Hormuz and analyze the implications of a ceasefire without meaning. Our top story tonight: U.S.-Iran tensions boil over in the Strait of Hormuz. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, a complex web of factors is driving the world towards a potentially catastrophic conflict with Iran. The current tensions between Iran and Israel have led to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway for global oil supplies. This development marks the culmination of an American policy defined by strategic incoherence, largely driven by former U.S. President Donald Trump's actions. In April 2026, Iranian protesters gathered at Inqilab Square in Tehran, condemning the United States and Israel. The tensions escalated when Trump announced his intention to blow up Iran, including its bridges and power plants, while touting a military operation as a big day. These statements can be seen as war crimes, with many viewing them as an attempt to project aggression as diplomacy. Trump's approach has been characterized by inflated promises and a focus on personal glory. He claims that his agreement with Iran will be far better than the one negotiated over a decade ago under Barack Obama. This assertion reflects Trump's tendency towards messaging driven more by projection, comparison, and self-aggrandizement rather than policy depth. The performative optimism surrounding these talks stands in contrast to Trump's simultaneous threats and pompous rhetoric, suggesting desperation rather than confidence. The underlying substance of his policy remains vague, leaving room for interpretation. As a result, it is unclear what Trump truly hopes to achieve through these negotiations or how they will ultimately impact regional tensions. The Strait of Hormuz closure is a stark reminder of the consequences of Trump's actions and the strategic incoherence that has defined his approach to Iran. The situation demands clarity and transparency from the U.S. administration, as well as a clear understanding of its intentions and goals. As tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate, some are now exploring an alternative path for Gulf states: collaboration with China. China's growing influence in the Middle East can offer Gulf states more than just a security umbrella, as regional dynamics shift following the Iran war. The conflict has delivered a systemic shock to the region's security architecture and economic miracle, with two major taboos being rapidly broken. The Strait of Hormuz was paralyzed for sustained periods, and Iranian strikes reached deep into Gulf territory. Beijing can play a significant role in post-war de-escalation, leveraging its unique position to communicate with Tehran without ideological constraints. China's economic interests are clear. Avoiding prolonged supply shocks would be crucial for maintaining stability in global energy markets. By aligning itself with Gulf priorities, China can help restore predictability in energy exports and logistics. The Iran war has exposed the vulnerability of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for global oil consumption. The region's reliance on this vital waterway makes de-escalation efforts essential. Beijing's involvement would provide a calibrated approach to communication, using its economic leverage to encourage diplomacy. This could involve quiet shuttle diplomacy or structured regional dialogue. The stakes are high, as the Iran war has strained relationships between Gulf states and their Western allies. China's growing presence in the region offers an opportunity for more pragmatic cooperation, one that prioritizes stability over ideological differences. As threat perceptions reset, Gulf states will likely pursue a dual track of restrained regional policy and diversified partnerships, including a closer relationship with China. Meanwhile, as tensions between the U.S. and Iran continue to escalate in the Persian Gulf, a new economic lifeline is being touted to stabilize global supply chains. The Middle Corridor, a logistics route through Central Asia and the South Caucasus region, is gaining momentum as a potential alternative to traditional maritime trade routes disrupted by the ongoing U.S.-Iran conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. The world's most vital trade and energy choke point, where over 20% of global oil supplies pass through, has seen recent tensions escalate, with Iran seizing 2 container ships, sparking international concern. As the Strait of Hormuz becomes increasingly unstable, countries along the Middle Corridor are stepping up efforts to develop this ancient Silk Road route. Waqar Ahmad, president of Kazakhstan's Nazarbayev University, a leading research institution in Central Asia, highlighted the urgent need for alternatives as shipping disruptions mount. The Middle Corridor is experiencing massive operational momentum, he stated during a recent meeting hosted by Hong Kong-based charity GX Foundation. Countries such as Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkey are investing heavily in infrastructure development to support the growth of this route. The initiative aims to strengthen regional cooperation and trade ties among participating nations, with the Belt and Road Initiative promoting health collaboration and cooperation among participating countries. The Middle Corridor is also being explored for its potential medical and humanitarian uses. As global supply chains face increasing uncertainty, the Middle Corridor's emergence as a viable alternative is gaining attention from policymakers and industry leaders. The region's vast natural resources, including oil, gas, and minerals, are set to play a significant role in shaping this new trade route's future. Today, we take a closer look at Iran's faltering peace process, where a fragile truce has failed to yield meaningful progress on the country's long-standing conflict. The recent statement by U.S. President Donald Trump about Iran's financial losses from the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has been met with widespread criticism, not just for its tone, but also for its lack of substance. The $500 million daily loss figure, as reported, seems more like a desperate attempt to justify a failed policy rather than a genuine assessment of the situation. The truth is that the war was never about toppling Iran's theocratic regime or bringing down Ali Khamenei's system. It was always about reshaping regional power balances and asserting American influence in the Middle East. The fact that the United States, along with its allies, bombed Iranian military bases and hit economic infrastructure suggests a much more cynical approach. Trump's offer of an indefinite ceasefire is a classic example of the rhetoric of failure. He talks of pressure on the Strait of Hormuz, hints at Tehran begging to reopen it, but avoids acknowledging the damage done to Iran's economy and military. This is not the language of a leader waging war to bring about change. It's the vocabulary of a businessman trying to reassure shareholders that losses are under control. The people who dreamed of liberation from Iran's repressive system were left feeling betrayed by the war. They thought they would see a regime that had weighed on their lives for decades finally fall, but instead, they saw the U.S. and its allies using the conflict as an excuse to reshape the region in their image. This sense of betrayal will only deepen as long as Trump continues to cling to his failed policy and avoids taking any real steps towards accountability or change. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a new warning to Iran over alleged naval mining in a sensitive waterway. Good evening, I'm your name, and this is a special report from our newsroom. In a tense escalation of tensions in the Middle East, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened Iranian boats that he claims are mining the Strait of Hormuz. The threat comes after the Pentagon confirmed that the U.S. military had boarded a second tanker carrying oil from Iran. The latest development follows a similar incident last week, when two U.S. Navy ships intercepted and seized an Iranian tanker in the Strait. The seizures have raised concerns about the safety of shipping in the region and the impact on global energy markets. Iran has denied any involvement in mining the Strait of Hormuz, and President Hassan Rouhani has called Trump's actions a very provocative behavior. The Iranian government has also warned that it will not be intimidated by U.S. threats. The tensions are part of a broader dispute between the U.S. and Iran over security in the region. Last year, U.S. forces shot down an Iranian drone that had entered the country's airspace, leading to increased tensions between the two nations. The status of peace talks between the U.S. and Iran remains uncertain, but the latest developments have highlighted the deep-seated mistrust between the two sides. The international community is watching closely as the situation in the Strait of Hormuz continues to unfold. We will continue to bring you updates on this developing story as more information becomes available. That's all for tonight's special report. We've brought you the latest updates on tensions in the Middle East, from the Iran-US standoff at the Strait of Hormuz to President Trump's threat against Iran. Thank you for watching. If you want to stay informed on this developing story and others like it, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you breaking news and analysis as more information becomes available.